the PS5 Pro has received quite a lot of interesting videos lately, with lots of differing opinions, mostly negative, people saying the price is too high or the machine isn't doing enough to justify the price or the upgrade. But the Gadget Show, I've had a look at it. I've not seen this video yet. I'm going to tell you what I think about it at the same time. So I like the Gadget Show. They tend to give accurate feedback on stuff, I think. So let's take a look and see what they say.
Really, I'm a big PlayStation fan. I'm also a big Xbox fan. I'm just a gaming fan. I've got a gaming PC that I'm actually talking to you via all the gadgets, and hugely still into my gaming. So I was really excited to see that 4 years on from the original release of the PlayStation 5, the Pro
feels like a fast
has
4 years.
arrived. And I'll tell you the spec and stuff, and then we'll talk about what I think is sort of the controversy. I don't think that's too big a word to put around one aspect
is
of
there
this
controversy?
release. So, they're upgrading the GPU that has 67% more compute than the current PS5. Always difficult to know without getting hands-on, because it doesn't come out until November the 7th.
Just pause it there for a second, because that is one of the issues. There's lots of opinions, people absolutely stating facts about stuff where no one's got their hands on it yet. No one actually knows what this thing will truly do. It's just speculation, but let's see what he has to say.
What that really means, how it really relates. Like, I'd like to play my current PS5 against the PS5 Pro on a game like Gran Turismo and see what some of the sexy upgrades that they're talking about mean. Sexiest for me, I'm a big fan of ray tracing. Gamers listening, watching will know what I'm talking about. This is the computation of individual rays of light that results, the aesthetic result
this is a big deal.
Reflections and really immersive, convincing, organic light, which is weird because sometimes you can apply ray tracing to a non-realistic game, so almost like a cartoony game, and suddenly that cartoony game looks like the real world, because light has this way, because of the way that we look at the world, of giving us a sense of reality. It is a really big innovation. It's something interesting that they talked about on the iPhone 16 launch, didn't they, for the Pro version, that it had enhanced ray tracing for what they call console level games. Well, I'm going to say, I think I'm pretty confident in this statement, that when they say console level games for the new iPhone 16 and 16 Pro, it ain't going to be on this level. This is going to be ray tracing on the next level.
Yes.
They're saying that the new hardware with the 5 Pro PlayStation allows rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speeds of the current PlayStation 5 consoles. That's quite a claim. And then of course...
Right. Now, this is one of the things why I honestly don't think people can speculate too much about the PS5 Pro's performance right now, because AMD are being super secretive about this ray tracing thing. No one's actually seen it in action yet, or no one actually knows exactly what it does. If there's a special chip in there that, say, takes the strain off the main CPU of doing the ray tracing, leaving the rest of the machine capable of dealing with the rest of what it has to compute, then that actually makes the jump in power effectively from PS5 to Pro even bigger. So everyone's saying it's not worth the money and stuff. It's kind of guessing, because it just sounds expensive compared to the PS5 Pro, and it does sound expensive.
Rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speeds of the current PlayStation 5 consoles. That's quite a claim. And then, of course, they went down the AI route, obviously. Machine learning is now part of their hardware chipset. Something called AI pixel enhancement, which will fill in the blanks and upscale content for those of us that have 4K and in certain situations 8K screens. So that's interesting. They said that they were very keen to point out that
unless you're watching TV or playing games on literally probably 100-inch screen from like 6 feet away, it's probably 8K. The human eye can only resolve so much, but that's another video, because unless you're watching on a massive screen or very close, 8K is, unless you're pixel peeping and stuff like that, and then I'm not sure. Forget it. Wait,
this thing that they call PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, right? Bit of a mouthful. That's their kind of catch-all for how AI.
Pisser. Can we say pisser? Is it pisser?
And machine learning is going to fill in the blanks and enhance the visual experience on the PlayStation 5 Pro as opposed to its predecessor or the current version. But it'll only work, and this is very important, with...
Now, I know some people say, oh yeah, that's upscaling, and certain people with certain allegiances will say, it's better to do it in hardware without upscaling. But if it can do it well enough that you can't actually see the difference, to me, that's still good.
That's their kind of catch-all for how AI and machine learning is going to fill in the blanks and enhance the visual experience on the PlayStation 5 Pro as opposed to its predecessor or the current version. But it'll only work, and this is very important, with certain
smoothness.
Games that kind of have that badge on it. Now, this is something, as a massive game enthusiast with a huge retro console collection, this is...
Just pause it there for a second, because a lot of people have said they've looked at these kind of screens and these kind of demos and they can't see any difference. I think they're looking at the wrong thing. They're looking at the character and the sharpness. It is sharper a little bit on the PS5, but not tons. It's not like a game-changing amount. What they're showing here is how the game is still being rendered at a certain resolution, but at a nice smooth 60 frames a second. If you look at the screen background as she turns around, and the same as on Ratchet and Clank, you'll see it's silky smooth on the Pro and not actually... Well, no, it's not jerky. It's just not as smooth in fidelity mode on the PS5.
Games that kind of have that badge on it. Now, this is something, as a massive game enthusiast with a huge retro console collection, this is something that gaming hardware manufacturers often do. They sell hardware based on the promise that forthcoming games will have a special badge on them that will utilize said hardware upgrade. And they've done it again with the PlayStation 5 Pro, but they have gone on to name games that will utilize some of these new advances. Alan Wake 2's mentioned, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Interesting, the one that I was most excited about because I'm a big driving sim fan, Gran Turismo 7. I mean, if you play Gran Turismo 7 and you're racing around in a Lamborghini, you just want it to look as damn good as possible.
So, are we assuming that this is
Susie's got involved?
Serious gamers rather than the casual gamer? How would you reply to that?
I do think it's a serious gamers system, actually. I do. And I think in that respect... Oh my goodness, the internet's going to hate me for saying this because everyone's up in arms about its price. But for the price, it certainly suggests.
He's scared to say for the price, it's possibly not as bad as people are thinking. A lot of people are thinking it's just got that small, to them, jump up in capabilities, but it has got a 2 terabyte SSD, and that's not cheap. It has got a higher compute units and other stuff as well, and the Wi-Fi 7 is actually pretty cool as well. But let's see what he has to say, because he looks like he's petrified to say anything as bold as he thinks it's not too bad for the money or something because of the absolute keyboard warriors that will be just bashing him to bits within seconds. I dare him to say it. You can see he wants to, but he's just like, he just can't, because he'll get killed. Because you can't have your own opinion these days without getting killed.
For the price, it certainly suggests that it will offer some really interesting upgrades, because the likes of Gran Turismo 7, I mean, for the price, what you're being offered, I think, is quite interesting. What do you think?
Let me just jump in.
For the price, what you're getting is quite interesting. And he said he wants to look as good as it possibly can. And he's especially excited for Gran Turismo 7 and how his Lamborghini look and stuff like that. But he's too scared to actually say, for the price, I actually think it's kind of okay. Can I say that without the internet killing me? Because I'm not allowed to say that. I can't have my own opinion without being destroyed. But he didn't say it. So I kind of said it for him. But there you go. That's kind of what he wants to say, but he didn't say it. Anyways, carry on.
Some really interesting upgrades, because the likes of Gran Turismo 7, I mean, for the price, what you're being offered, I think, is quite interesting. What do you think?
Well, let me just jump in. The price is $699, so the OG is $479, so it's sort of £220 more, which I think for the average person's pocket is quite a lot of money.
It is. I'm not sure what he's going to say here, but I'm just going to jump in. But it is quite a lot, and I think what people are comparing this to is the PS4 Pro. When the original PS4 came out, I forget what the price was, but by the time the Pro came out, the PS4 dropped in price, and the Pro came out at pretty much the same price as what the PS4 launched for. And I think the problem is people were as soon as you do that, people expect that to happen again. But the trouble is, it's a completely different world of consoles we live in now. When the PS4 first came out, it was already old technology. It was like old, compare it to, the PC at the time. It was ancient in PC terms. That's different on the PS5. When the PS5 came out, it was kind of cutting edge. For the money, I don't think you could get a massive, massive jump up from the PS5 to a Pro. Not for the same money. You can't put an extra gigabyte and a bit of SSD in there, Wi-Fi 7, the upgrades, whatever this ray tracing chip does. Remember, we haven't even seen that yet. He looks like he's almost too scared to actually give his true opinion. But yeah, let's let him see what he says about the price.
It's sort of £220 more, which I think for the average person's pocket is quite a lot of money.
It's not for the average person.
I mean, they're smashing the ceiling into oblivion.
Yeah.
That's never been a price that...
I think this is kind of... The PS5 is for the uber enthusiast, the game, the super gaming fan kind of thing. For a casual gamer or just someone that wants to play games, PS5 is still absolutely perfect. I think the PS5 was for the super enthusiast, the mega gaming fan, and people like that. And again, it's a choice. If people don't want to buy it, they obviously don't have to. No one's been forced.
That has been paid for standard kind of popular consoles, some niche consoles maybe back in the day, sort of in relative price terms, but that is a huge amount of money, John, isn't it?
Well, it's a lot more than the standard model, but at the same time, compared to a gaming PC, it's probably quite competitively priced, I would have thought. But I'm not an expert in this area, but you clearly are.
Still too scared to say what you really think.
What's your view compared to the PC?
It's a really difficult one because
PCs can do more.
People get very upset and very emotional about this stuff.
Do they? If you compare a console to a PC, do people get really upset? No, they don't. They don't. No, they don't. It's just a rumour. Anyway, let's carry on. But they do. They get really upset. It's really quite bizarre, actually. But yeah, see what he has to say.
What's your view compared to the?
This is quite funny.
It's a really difficult one because and people get very upset and very emotional about this stuff, and I understand why. Because look, £699 is a huge amount of money to pay. The equivalent gaming laptop, I'm guessing, and feel free to comment on this, listeners and viewers. But my guess is you wouldn't get this sort of hardware performance from an equivalent priced laptop, but then the laptop could do all of your office tasks, all of your social media.
No, you wouldn't. That's true, and that's the kind of the argument all the way along for me. Like the PC enthusiasts always, say, for the similar sort of money, I can not only play games, but I can also do this. I can send my emails and browse the internet, but I don't need a mega gaming PC that does all that stuff at the same time. I can have a gaming console and a cheap laptop to do all those other things, and I think that's how other people see it as well. If you want an all-in-one thing, then obviously gaming PC is still absolutely fantastic.
But then the laptop could do all of your office tasks, all of your social media. You could watch videos. Well, you can watch videos and content on this, but you get what I mean? It's not a do-it-all device. It's very much the choice of a small percentage of...
That's the thing, choice. Like, people have to have their free choice. If you think the Pro's too expensive, leave it. No one's forcing you to buy it. If you think you can do better for the same money buying new PC parts, then go for it. And it's all about choice.
Of gamers that just want the absolute best.
Yeah, I mean, you are a serious gamer, though.
It's who want the best and are willing to pay for it.
For casual gamers,
for consoles,
this might be a step too far.
Talking of gaming PCs, there's one I saw at IFA. I'd quite like your view on as an expert.
It's not for casual gamers. PS5 Pro
Mega Mini G1. It's claimed to be the world's smallest water-cooled gaming PC. It's scarcely bigger than your hand in terms of its format, but it's got an i9 13th generation processor and an RTX 4060 graphics card. and it's a sort of combination
Is
of liquid
PS5
and,
stuff finished, or?
and fan cooling. Pretty quiet, very small. I wondered what you thought of it. Unfortunately, I haven't got a price for it, but...
Yeah, no. So it was mentioned in the pre-show notes, and I have brought it up. I have no experience of it in the physical. Love the look of it. I would encourage anyone listening and watching this to do the same. Look it up on your search engine. But I mean, with no price, it's really difficult. I mean, straight away it's Wi-Fi 6E. So the Wi-Fi 7 capability of the PlayStation 5 Pro.
PS5 Pro does Wi-Fi 7.
Is exciting because the thing with the console, as you know, this is the important thing, right? You can't upgrade it, right? Okay, you can put the Blu-ray thing in it, but you can't upgrade it. And I think you can't upgrade it. I mean, if they're going to
we can add more memory to it,
path,
but that's it.
They certainly haven't announced it yet. So,
and the drive, if you want to add the drive.
My guess is you'll never be able to upgrade this PlayStation 5 Pro. And this machine has to sit in that configuration for 2 to 3, 4 years at that price. You've got to get that kind of longevity out of it to get your investment back. So, you know, it's really cool that it's got Wi-Fi 7, for example. If it was Wi-Fi 6, I might feel less enthusiastic about it. The AI stuff, the implementation of a machine learning,
it's pretty cool.
You know, a hardware chipset is also interesting because that's something actually that could be upgraded through software updates. You know, we talked, didn't we, earlier in this podcast about
that's a good point.
The hardware on the new iPhone 16s, the A18 chipsets, and the Pro, that they're promising stuff, but they haven't delivered it yet. And we weren't happy with that, but we seem to believe Apple. We seem to sort of accept the concept, right? Well, we have to do the same with the PlayStation.
I don't believe
it's something that is, I'm guessing, subject to upgrade via software updates, right? So there is an upgrade path there of sorts, but no hardware upgrade path. No. And that's just something to consider when you're investing your money. But your point was simple. I've kind of overdone the answer a little bit. Your point was, how does it compare to gaming PCs? You know, they don't make a huge profit on these consoles, you know. What they're trying to do is to get you to invest in games and other content that they get.
Yeah, the PS5 was sold, I believe, at a loss for the first 4 or 5 months at least until the cost of manufacturing come down. Don't know if that's the same with the Pro, but like I said, they don't make a lot on consoles. They rely on making it from the games. So, in theory, what you're getting with the Pro should be, technically, even though it sounds expensive, good value. Obviously, a lot of people say it isn't, etc. But in theory, it should be.
You know, what they're trying to do is to get you to invest in games and other content that they get, you know, an upside from. So, you know, video content and all the rest of it. So it does. I'm going to get shot for this. It does represent value for money in the widest sense, yeah. But it's the most expensive console that I've ever witnessed.
A lot of people won't like what he said, but he's just being honest, and it is. He's not looking at it from a, dare I say, biased viewpoint. The fact is, it is an enthusiast, serious gamer console. It's not released for the casual gamer. There's nothing wrong with the PS5 still. This is literally how I see it. And it's like, the PS5 is still an amazing machine. There's actually no need to upgrade. It's just for the uber fans that want the best of what is out there at the moment in a mid-cycle upgrade. This is not a PS6. It's not meant to replace the PS5. It's literally just a mid-cycle upgrade of an improvement. And if you want it, you pay the money. If you don't, you don't.
Shot for this. It does represent value for money in the widest sense, yeah? But it's the most expensive console that I've ever witnessed.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
But it is, but a lot of people won't, don't agree with this part either. But in terms of, if you take inflation into account, the PS3 was more expensive. If you take inflation into account again, the PS1, the first one, was more expensive. If I remember rightly, so I did look this up earlier. That released at £299 in, was it 94, 95? And the equivalent money now is £750. PS1, in theory, was more expensive. It's all relative. Is that it, or have they got any more?
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank
you, John.
Thank you.
No, that was it. An interesting take there on what they said about the PS5 Pro. So not negative, and for fear for actually saying it, Jason was basically saying you think it actually represents okay value for money compared to what you're actually getting, which is a lot of people won't want to see, because they'll just see the price hike from PS5 launch price to what this is now, and they'll see the same CPU, the jump up in compute units and things like that, and a few other bits, and like I can't see how that's, they won't see how that's worth an extra 200 and something pound without the disk drive and without a vertical stand, which is upsetting quite a lot of people, and that is sort of fair enough. But apparently, to the latest stats and figures, something like 80% of PlayStation 5 users pretty much don't use the disk drive. So I can sort of see why they didn't put the drive with the machine, because if they did that, they're putting something with it that 1 out of 5 people only use, and they'd have to put the price up again. And yeah, it is an expensive additional thing. If you add the disk drive to it and the vertical stand to get it to the same level as what a PS5 was, then it makes it another 100, which makes it basically like $799, which is like ludicrous. So yeah, you can see why people are upset about the price, but we know little about this AMD ray tracing thing at the moment. It could be an absolute game changer. So I don't know. I'll probably get one because I am a gaming enthusiast and I like my consoles. So, but I may change my mind. I don't know. But anyway, there's a video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But thanks for watching.